Being an athlete for Gorilla Mind and posting new products, restocks, and also doing Q&As about the products, I get a lot of questions about one particular product, and that would be Turkesterone. More specifically, is Turkesterone natty or not? Having my master's in exercise physiology, I thought it would be great to delve into some of the research and give you a breakdown of what Turkesterone is and why I think it either is natural or is not natural. And spoiler alert, I just started a Turkesterone cycle, and at the end of this video, I will let you know how much I am doing and for how long I will be doing it. So make sure you stick around. My name is Nick, and I typically do high protein, delicious recipes, but I also do videos such as this one. So if you're into fitness and dieting, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Before we get into this, I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is just stuff that I looked up, and I am letting you know what I found and my opinions on it. So don't listen to anything I say. What is Turkesterone? Turkesterone comes from the plant Ajuga turkestanica. I probably said that wrong, but is also found in other plant species as well, and is a phytoecdysteroid, or a steroid hormone that is found in certain plant species. Many people hear steroid and are immediately turned off because of all of the things they have heard that steroids can cause, such as hair loss, acne, raised lipid profile or raised cholesterol, raised liver enzymes, which is also not good, etc. However, these phytoecdysteroids have not shown any of these side effects that typically occur with anabolic androgenic steroids thus far in the research, both clinical and anecdotal. That being said, more research needs to be done for sure on the safety and efficacy of ecdysteroids, and I will dive much deeper into the current literature in a later video. However, you came for Turk's natty status, so let's get into it. Turkesterone, are you natty or not? Let's start with the most basic of the basic. What is the definition of natural? Existing in or caused by nature, not made or caused by humankind. Turkesterone is made from a plant in nature. So I would say that that is a win in Turkesterone's corner for being natural. Unfortunately, there is nothing that has Turkesterone in it at your local grocery store. However, there are several common foods that have the ecdysterone in it, which is kind of like Turkesterone's older brother. Funny enough, Derek also sells ecdysterone as well. This ecdysteroid is shown to have similar effects to Turkesterone, just on a slightly smaller scale. However, on an individual basis, you may respond much better to Turkesterone than ecdysterone, while someone else responds way better to ecdysterone than to Turkesterone. It's just like any other medication on the market. I bring up ecdysterone because I want to provide you with several ways you could possibly be getting the effects of an ecdysteroid through your diet. Now, common foods that contain ecdysterone are spinach, quinoa, and to a lesser extent, asparagus and yams. But how much ecdysterone do you actually get in these foods? Let's start with spinach. Right out of the gate, it is hard to say because it could vary greatly depending on the species of spinach. There was a study done where they grew 7 different spinach plants in the exact same environment. Each and every plant had varying amounts of ecdysteroid in it, which makes it even more complicated because when you go to the store and get your spinach, who knows where it was sourced from, what kind of soil it was grown in, or how good the soil actually was, and even how long it was grown for. Yes, even the exact same spinach plant had varying amounts of ecdysteroids in it depending on how long it was grown for. Interpreting micrograms and very small percentages has my math all discombobulated, and I really do pride myself on giving out the most accurate information as possible, so I am back to correct it. Now, let's use this study to give you a real life example. Best case scenario, the farmers picked this exact spinach on the 40th day of it growing, which nets you about 790 micrograms per gram of spinach. To get about 800 milligrams or 0.8 grams of ecdysteroid, you will need to eat about 1,000 grams or a kilo of spinach. A daily dose of Derek's ecdysteroid has 1,000 milligrams or 1 gram. And on top of it, if the spinach is pulled when there's only about 150 micrograms, then you will have to eat 5 times the amount of spinach, or 5 kilos. I mean, sometimes when I eat 2 bags of spinach, it runs right through me, let alone 4 or more. No thanks. Of course, I am not saying that you shouldn't eat spinach. It has several health benefits. However, I wouldn't be eating spinach to get the anabolic effects of ecdysterone from it, because you would be eating a ton, probably literally, of spinach to get those results. Quinoa has also been looked at in the research, and it actually has a much higher ecdysteroid content, but it also has a much higher caloric density. The highest ecdysteroid filled quinoa looked at in one study was 846 milligrams per kilogram. 1 kilogram of quinoa, when broken down into calories, is 3,800 calories. Best case scenario, I eat quinoa day after day. It grows me a ton of muscle because of eating all this quinoa and ecdysteroid. Unfortunately, I will also become very fat very quickly. Again, I definitely think you could use quinoa in your diet to your advantage, especially because it has been shown to have over 5 different ecdysteroids in it. However, I wouldn't solely count on quinoa to fill your ecdysteroid need if that is your goal. I can't tell you the digestibility or bioavailability of eaten ecdysterone or ecdysteroids versus Derek's hydroxypropyl beta cyclodextrin complex that he makes with his ecdysterone. However, I do understand and realize that the one study that both Derek and Team 3D Alpha went over only had the participants have 15 milligrams of ecdysterone. This would actually be very feasible because that's only about 50 grams of quinoa per day, or about 200 calories. However, even Derek said that these expectations are very unrealistic and probably weren't caused by the ecdysterone itself.
Like having a change in your bench of 22 pounds with 12 milligrams of ecdysterone is not gonna happen, you know? Like, it's not. That's like a very, very low dose. If I was using ecdy, I would be using in the thousands, bro.
Remember, correlation does not equal causation. In theory, if you took thousands of milligrams of ecdysterone, you would have a much greater effect. And so far, at least anecdotally, that is not what we're seeing. And yes, I realize that there is a law of diminishing return, but you know, we don't see guys adding 100 pounds onto their bench, even when adding 100 times or 200 times or 300 times the dose than in that study into their daily routine. If you're going to look at someone who takes turkesterone as not natural, then let's look at supplements as a whole. If someone takes supplements, do you also consider them not natural? If so, that would make a logical argument. If not, let's dig into some of the supplements. First, we'll look at some recently hyped supplements. Andrew Huberman has been on a few podcasts now talking about a couple supplements that he's seen on average raise people's testosterone around 200 nanograms per deciliter. Now, he's not saying to take them, and I am not saying to take them either, but this is what he's seeing in his anecdotal data. To add on to that, it seems as if there is no negative effects on your testosterone levels if you stop taking it. On the surface, if someone's testosterone can go up 200 nanograms per deciliter from a supplement, I would say that's not natural. Not familiar with those supplements? Okay, let's look at testosterone boosters. Those are everywhere. If it is a high quality testosterone booster, some of them have been shown to raise your testosterone levels, but if used chronically, can also mess with your estrogen levels. So, If you take a test booster, are you still natural? Let's go to the most time-tested and proven product on the market. Creatine. This is almost a one-to-one comparison of ecdysterone. Why, you ask? Well, it's natural. It's found in everyday foods like ground beef, pork, salmon, etc. Unfortunately, similar to ecdysterone, to get an efficacious dose of creatine, you have to eat an unsurmountable amount of meat every single day. And what are the results when looking at the studies? Let's read straight from the study itself. Of the 22 studies reviewed, the average increase in muscle strength following creatine supplementation plus resistance training was 8% greater than the average increase in muscle strength following placebo ingestion. Similarly, the average increase in weightlifting performance following creatine supplementation plus resistance training was 14% greater than the average increase in weightlifting performance following placebo ingestion during resistance training. So let's say anywhere between 8 to 14% increase, whether that be in a 1 rep max or in strength in general. So if someone's 1 rep max is 200 pounds, let's make this even and say their increase in strength was 10% to keep it simple. That would be an added 20 pounds onto their bench press, which would be the same results as the Team 3D Alpha study on ecdysterone, 20 pounds onto the bench press. What's funny is in Vitruvian Physique's ecdysterone video, when he summarized everything, at the end, he actually compared ecdysterone or ecdysteroids to creatine. Could the effects of turkesterone be the same as creatine? Yes. Could they be worse? Absolutely. And could they be better as well? Yes. At this point, we don't have the longitudinal data to say, if taken for 6 months, you get this result, 1 year this result, 2 year this result, 3 years, etc. You know what I'm saying? And that is exactly why I wanted to run a test on myself with the turkesterone and the ecdysterone to see how effective they are for me, and I could report my results just so that there is more and more data to support whether it's effective or it's not. Needless to say, if you take creatine, are you natural? Sorry guys, I lied. The most effective and longest studied supplement on the market that a ton of people use that work out or don't work out is caffeine. Caffeine has been shown to work over and over and over again to improve focus, mental clarity, and energy. And fun fact for people that didn't know, but caffeine was actually banned by the Olympics as a performance enhancing drug or PED. Just some food for thought. Funny enough, after it came off the ban list, they ran a study to see how many athletes actually had caffeine in their blood or urine samples, and it came back that 3 out of 4 athletes had caffeine in their system. In my opinion, that just shows the efficacy of caffeine. So, if you use caffeine, are you natural? Pre-workout. I'm not gonna go ingredient for ingredient, but when used in combination, the whole point of a pre-workout is to improve energy, improve focus, improve mental clarity, increase endurance, increase power output, increase vascularity, which all these things add up to more reps in the gym for more weight, which at the end of the day causes muscular hypertrophy or more muscle mass. Again, if you take pre-workout, are you natural? Without a shadow of a doubt, any of the above mentioned supplements are performance enhancing drugs in one way or another. They cause a cascade of events that eventually leads to more muscle mass or muscle hypertrophy. If these supplements are not natural, then I would say probably 99% of people in the fitness industry are not natural. If someone thinks you are unnatural using turkesterone and also thinks someone who uses caffeine or creatine is unnatural, then I have no problem with that argument. However, if you say turkesterone is unnatural, but if you take Gorilla Mind, which has 12 ingredients that are focused on being able to move more weight in the gym, and you are still natural with that, then I don't agree with your argument. So, when all is said and done, is turkesterone natty or not? Without getting into the weeds, I would say that a compound is natural if it doesn't cause hepatotoxicity, nephrotoxicity, hair loss, acne, testosterone suppression, etc. And that pretty much comes down to SARMs or steroids. So I conclude, if you take turkesterone, you still have your natty card. But what's your opinion? At the end of the day, the supplement industry is such a gray area and everyone's opinion is different. So my opinion may very well be wrong. When all is said and done, I could care less if I am still considered natural. I just want to live a happy, hair-filled, long life. Quite frankly, if steroids didn't have these negative longevity-minded effects, I probably would have already run a steroid cycle by now. I am also not ruling out that I won't do it in the future. However, if I do end up doing it, I will be dipping my toes in and not diving right into it. As far as my turkesterone regimen, I want to find out how good this product is, how well I respond to it, and quite frankly, if it works or not for me, so there is just more data on it. So, for the next 12 weeks, I will be taking turkesterone, 4 caps a day for 6 of those weeks, or about 2 grams, and 6 caps a day for the last 6 weeks, or 3 grams. If you want to follow along on the journey, I will be posting an intro video next week about how I am not only cycling it, but also what metrics I will be measuring, and I will also be posting updates probably every month or so with how the progress is going with pictures, measurements, all of that good stuff. So if you would like to see the journey, please subscribe to the channel and definitely like this video. A ton of research went into it to make it. Again, if this video helped you in any way, please hit that like button and use code E4CM for any of your Gorilla Mind purchases, which of course includes turkesterone or ecdysterone as well. And until next time, I will see you in that next one. Deuces.